I found that really spooky, and I've talked to people who've seen it already, and people are really taken by just that energy that you created there, all of you. And it's, I mean, it is another world, and it's kind of threatening and Twilight Zone, and these are all these things people have been saying. I think it's an incredibly effective piece and completely unexpected. Um, Stephen, where did this come from?
I was afraid you're going to ask me that.
All right. Well, Hung.
Yes.
We'll think of something, Stephen.
And Henry, you know, the question, or Stephen, the question that I have, it coincides with Henry. Mine is just so that you're prepared. The title. I'm curious about the title. So.
Oh, I can tell you what that's from.
Okay.
So do you want to go to Hung? Or do you want to
tell us about the title? Tell us about the title.
Well, when I was writing this piece, I was looking for drug, and one of the phrases I came across, which I really liked, was blanket city. And basically it refers to the ideal that in these places where drug addicts hang out, a lot of them will overdose and die, and when they take them out, they cover them in blankets.
Oh God.
Guys called Blanket City. Where did the rest of it come from? Where did the actual content come from?
What's that?
Where did the content come from?
I'm trying to remember, and a lot of times it's just maybe I hear something or someone tells me something, but I know that I wrote this for the Culver City group, and a lot of these scripts have come from the Culver City group. But I really can't tell you where the original ideal came from. Sometimes I can, but other times it's just, I just might be riding on a bus or driving on the freeway, and something will kind of strike me, and I'll start thinking about a story that comes from that. And that's all I can say about this one. It doesn't come from my background, so, but.
Well, that's good. That is very good.
So I have a clear idea where the story came from. I just started writing it.
Did the characters already live in your head individually, or did they meet and did they meet in your blanket city, or did you have like one of those characters in mind and want to put them in a place, put them in a situation, or did they evolve out of the story as you started writing it?
Now I know where it came from.
Inspiration.
I worked with another group called Some Assembly Required Los Angeles. And what this group does is it takes ideals, or what they call them dares, from their previous audience. And so someone's supposed to write a dare, like, I dare you to write a story about. And the dare that this came from was, I dare you to write a story about characters who don't know they've died.
Ooh, nice.
And so that's where the ideal came from. So when you started talking about it, I finally remembered. And so about the characters, I just wanted Hung's character to be the main character. He's the only one that's kind of moving around. Everyone else has died except for little Jimmy. He's the only one who gets out alive. What's that?
Little Johnny.
Little Johnny. I wanted there to be a character that comes in to kind of let Thomas know that he has now died and he needs to move on. And I thought it would be nice if it was somebody in his life, like a mentor or someone who was old. And so that's why I thought it should be like an older brother who had previously died of an overdose and has come in to kind of help them.
Yeah.
And I figured there had to be a girlfriend there. And I always like the idea of there being some other kind of character that's kind of intricate to the group, but is sort of gives me a way of communicating back and forth with the other characters, and that was the character Luke. I don't think they all came to me at once. I think they started coming to me as I started writing it. How am I going to get from this point to that point? And they just kind of evolved.
Nice.
So how was it to play Hung? Because I thought all of you and a couple of actors who couldn't make it here now, I thought it was an incredibly effective team playing, and I mean, you all just absolutely captured the energy and the atmosphere of it. And I saw Hung. I saw actually with all of you. I saw as we rehearsed it. I saw a real change as like the energy kind of established itself, and then you all changed and really got into that. And with you, Hung, how did it feel to play it?
There was I knew the character's arc coming into this. He was like confused to inebriated to angry to sad to acceptance. So I always map out how the character begins and how he ends. And I'm a guy who struggles a lot with vulnerability, especially when it comes to acting. It's like men aren't supposed to cry. We're from the South. They're strong men. But I was holding back. If you ever know that I'm giving truthful emotions, it's always this eye that's holding back the tears, because I know the moment I cry, it's just like. You go back and watch the play of the video where he goes, "No one calls me Raj." The moment when his brother comes back, I'm just like holding back.
Thumb top.
Yeah, that's when it starts. So the rest of the video is just me doing this. So.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you know that about your instrument. That's so funny and so cool.
Writer does a good job writing, because a lot of times it's the job as the actor to just kind of bring the writer's words to life.
Absolutely.
And I know that it was good writing. I didn't want to do it, Steve. Sorry to hurt your feelings, but it was like short notice, and he was like, "Here, Hung, I want you to play the lead. It's only pages long, and you have a day to memorize this." So I was like, eh.
Oh, I told you early on you didn't have to memorize it. It was going to be a reading. So there's no pressure.
I had to memorize it, Steve. I can't let the other actors down.
And that was very effective. I mean, in fact, yes, I mean, you had the freedom, because you knew the lines, you had the freedom to not be stuck on the screen and to be able to wander around, as it were, within your very tight box. I think this format, it's been interesting, where actors have, for whatever reason, learned their lines, and it gives an immense freedom to be able to just not be stuck with the screen, with gazing into the screen. And I think it was very effective, that too. And Roger, you, I wasn't, I didn't quite know what that character was when I was reading it, or even when I saw it at the Cover City group. But you came in and suddenly, oh, there was this character. Oh, I get it. I get who he is. And you come in with this other energy which kind of breaks through. It was fantastic. It was just a wonderful moment. When,
Well, thanks for the kind words. The piece immediately reminded me of two Twilight Zone episodes. One with Ed Wynn, and another one with Inger Stevens, where the Grim Reaper is in both of those Twilight Zone episodes. Ed Wynn plays a salesman, and Inger Stevens plays a woman who's actually dead, but she doesn't know it. And there's a hitchhiker that's always hitchhiking. She sees him every 50 miles. I don't know if those episodes ring a bell to you, but it's about two characters escaping.
Going my way.
And he says that in the actual episode. It's called The Hitchhiker, and the other one's called, because I looked it up today, One More for the Angels. And both Grim Reapers, and they're not necessarily dark characters. They could be the guy next door. So, I mean, I did dress dark in the piece, but you know, I just thought, you know, I'm his brother. It's time. Come with me, you know. And but I always had those Twilight episodes in the back of my mind when I was reading this piece.
Right.
And a lot, it was in 6 pages, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
so funny hearing you say that now, Roger, because now that you said that, like you already, as someone watching your performance in it, your character was full of love. And so now to hear that a lot of the inspiration of that for you was the fact that you had this idea of the Grim Reaper not needing to be scary, not needing to be dark. Yeah, really nice.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, even though I was one that I look like a cat burglar, but you know, with the beanie and the.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely perfect. Yeah. And Sean, your I know we were discussing during the rehearsal, but we just kind of tossed it out there as to, you know, where are these dead people? Are they do they know they're dead? Are they somewhere between earth and heaven? Are they or are they just kind of inebriated or waking up out of drugs, or what are they doing? And then we didn't go any further with that. And then when you came in, you had completely changed into you had just completely worked out the energy of where this person was, and it was such a delight to see. Oh my God! Again, the energy has changed. It was fantastic.
Well, you know, I think there are a couple of things that made that happen, and thank you for that compliment there, Henry. And one of them gets back to what was said earlier about the writing. And so, you know, we did it a few times before you actually recorded it. And every time we did it, there's more discoveries. I, as an actor, rely heavily on the writing. I feel like every clue we need to character, when it's a well-written piece, again, as was said before, when it's well-written, everything you need to know about the story and the characters is there. And then it's my job as the actor to find, it's like a roadmap, and it's to find the writer's intent and bring it to life. So that's one of the things that accounted for that. And then the other thing too is just, you know, having this atmosphere, again, as has already been said tonight, of positivity, where there was the space to explore, to experiment, and let it develop naturally. I don't personally mind having something prescribed for me, which is again why there is for me the reliance on the script. But and then the third thing, I said two, but there's actually three. The third thing that made that reality that you mentioned come alive is that I was raised Catholic. And in Catholicism, we have purgatory. So, right. Yeah, exactly. So the concept of, you know, not quite dead was not foreign to me. The concept of not possibly, you know, how much do you know about how dead you are was not foreign to me. And then, of course, there is the line that Jazzy says, that my character says to Thomas, which is, "You're still in there." And that line alone illuminates the fact that she has some knowledge of their current state, that she knows that it's not what it was on Earth. And so all of those things informed how Jasmine came out of this vessel.
Yeah, it was marvelous. I mean, absolutely marvelous.
Thank you.
We do have an audience for this, as a matter of fact. And Sean, the other Sean, would you like to pop in? Who's a friend of both Stephen and Hung.
Hello,
So
I'm the
you-
audience.
Hey, boy, Sean.
You were watching with us, looking.
And I'd be interested in getting some feedback from you, Sean, since you are involved in the production. Because one of the things that I think for this piece, there are some acts we couldn't recreate in the Zoom platform. And like I was talking to you earlier about the limitations of Zoom. So what I'd like to ask you, if you were able to follow what was happening in the story, considering there are certain things that you really couldn't be aware of because of the way it's presented on Zoom?
Yeah, I think what struck me very much about the piece was Stephen always writes very grounded characters that are very realistic and believable. It's what I really like about his writing is he's digging into characters that feel real.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting how this piece sort of starts out with that, and I was a little confused, but I like the twist by the end that you sort of realize that they've all died, that they're all in purgatory. So I definitely figured it out by the end. I definitely think, Hung had some of the actors had blankets and some didn't, and I think that would have helped, more blankets around. He was like, is this guy in blanket world? Is he not in blanket world? That's, I think, a little what you're talking about,
That's a great impression.
Huh? That's just the limit.
Blanket world's a great impression.
There. But I also thought, there's sort of spirits in a spirit world, so it kind of, it sort of works. So that, yeah, I see kind of the limitations of, because it felt like a script that you had written previously and then adapted to sort of the Zoom thing. And I think it works, as a great read-through and a great showcase of the actors' incredible skills. And, the editing was great. The story got told. But, there's definitely some differences than if you had just shot it as a play. It would be a different performance, or if you shot it without coronavirus, if you had all the actors in the same room. Each of those would be a different version of the same story. But I did think that, but like I said, by the end of the story, I understood what was happening, that they were all in purgatory and that, they sort of went on to the next world. And I liked that twist, and I liked that you're sort of confused at the beginning, but that matches Hung's character, who is confused. He's the audience surrogate who has no idea what's going on, but by the end, you definitely got to that. So I thought it worked very well. Congrats to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sean,
Now, Sean, had you seen? I'm sorry, Henry.
Go on, you carry on.
Well, I was just going to ask Sean, had you seen it before tonight, or was this showing that Henry just shared on the screen? Was this the first time you'd seen it?
That is the first time I had seen this. No.
Got it.
So yeah, it was great seeing with all the cast and the crew, and to hear Stephen's story about how he made it. And I like the idea that you just got through a pitch and someone dared you to write a script, because I think it's a little outside Stephen's comfort zone. Like I said, to watch him write in a Twilight Zone episode basically. But I think that I like when Stephen does that, because I think it's interesting to watch someone who's so good at creating grounded characters put those characters in a fantastical setting or something abnormal going on, supernatural or something. I like that personally.
Yeah, I want to mention to Roger and Sean, because I told it to Henry. I met Hung John through another meetup group where they do a 24-hour film where they write it, film it, and then edit it and put it up on YouTube. So the night I came there for the first time, they had told me they were going to work on a particular theme, and I came in with a script. And when I got there, they said, well, unfortunately, there are no women showing up tonight, so we're just going to shoot a scene around a poker table, guys playing poker. And I said, well, I have another idea. And I told them the idea, and I said, but I haven't written it out. And then Hung hands me the laptop and says, go ahead and write it. And so it was like, I'm writing the script and they're sitting around. And when I met Hung for the first time, he was experimenting with an Irish accent. And I'm sitting there talking to him for the first time and going, does this guy have an Irish accent? And he wouldn't give it up. And it was driving John crazy that he kept talking in this Irish accent. But I'm sitting there typing and they're having conversations, and every once in a while they would say, well, how far you've gotten? I go, I'm up, 3 pages now, okay? And went out for pizza and read it. So.
This is
the
Yeah,
start.
yeah, Stephen walked in and had another one of his sample scripts, which is fantastic. It's you can read a script very quickly and tell whether someone's a good writer or not. It's not, and Stephen was obviously a good writer. It was just the way we film, we have to adapt for who's there. I'm sure in the way you guys deal with the same thing, if you have to cast based on who you have. So we made Stephen write another script and filmed a short film, and I think it turned out really good. A lot of it's about alcoholism, and it's really devastating, and has I guess there's a twist in the end, just like this one. But
Yes.
that one's more an example of a very grounded, realistic story, aside from Hug's Irish accent. But
You know, to Sean's,
He's close to booking the part. Y'all calm down.
oh, I know, it's fantastic.
to
I love
Sean's
it.
point about Steven's characters that he creates, I have to co-sign on that 100%. Like so much, the realness of them. So much so that every time I have a messenger message from Steven Olson, I get excited. I'm like, yes, I'll do it. What does he want to do? I'll play it. Yeah, I'm there. Okay, yeah, sure. Like every time, you know.
Thank
I
you.
mean, yeah, absolutely.
We have a piece. I came up to Steve with an idea to write this orphanage thing, and I told Steven, I said, Steve, I want to kill the pizza guy, and one of the guy it's one bad guy and one guy who he hates pepperoni. He'll murder somebody if he gets another pepperoni pizza.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. No, it's
I don't blame him.
It's pineapple.
Steven comes back with me in a week with a 45-page script, and I was like, Steve, I need it to be a short film. It has to be less. So he comes back with
Got excited. You gotta have the backstory of the pizza delivery guy.
Wow. Wow.
He's a good writer. That's all. That's the consensus, guys.
Mind blown. I couldn't even imagine.
Good job, Steve.
Well, Hug has done that to me a couple of times. We were working on a project with another person, and it started getting bigger than I think we were prepared for, so we kind of on it. And then Hug calls me up and says, well, we still would like to practice. So one of the guys that was going to be involved in the project wanted to be an actor, but didn't have that much acting experience. So Hug says, so write a script for us and we'll just play around with it and shoot it. I'm going, just write a script for 3 guys. So a young Asian guy, a older black man with Rastafarian hair, and an old man. What's the story? He goes, I don't know, just come up with something. We're just gonna play around with it.
And go.
There you go. And surprisingly enough, I'm walking home from work and I came up with the idea and wrote the script when I got there that night.
You know, limitations can be helpful when writing, though. It's like knowing what cast you have, it can help creativity as well, you know.
It also speaks to how observant you must be as a person, Stephen, because you have to be someone who's constantly noticing specifics about people, situations, locations that you're in. And that's why there's constantly this font of material to just flow right out of you.
I think that, you know, I may have mentioned that when we were doing the choice, and there's a character, and everybody was wondering where that character came from. And I said I based it on my life. And I think for me, I've always been the guy that hangs out in the background.
Yeah.
Say too much, watching. So
I remember you saying that in that TalkBack. I watched that Q&A because I wasn't in that particular production, but I did watch it. And I remember you saying that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a friend once said that writers are the watchdogs of society.
Well, and the other thing, I don't think Stephen has any comfort zones left whatsoever now. I mean, you've been challenged in every direction possible, haven't you?
Yeah, I try to explore as much as I can. I remember posting on another Facebook page, people were asking about what genre do you like most to write in and what genre do you pick? And for me, what I posted back was it's never a genre, it's always a story. And then that just story develops into one genre or another, but I never fix on just the genre.
Have you written all of your life? Like, did you start this as a child?
What was that?
I said, have you written all of your life? Did you start doing this as a child, or did you come to it later in life?
Much later in life. I was a terrible student. I barely got through high school, and writing was one of the things that was one of my poor subjects and poor grades in, and so I always avoided it until my son decided to go off to college, and he was trying to decide what his major was going to be. And he said, I'd like to think about theater. And I said, well, you haven't really done anything with theater. Are you sure you want to do that? And at that time, we were living in near San Luis Obispo. And San Luis Obispo has a small theater, and once a month, they do what they call no shame theater. And anybody can come in and bring something in. First 17 people get picked. And I said, why don't we go there and you can see if it's something that you want to be involved in. And we went a few times, and I kept asking him, so are you going to do something? He goes, nah, I don't think so. But as people were coming in and doing stories and plays and poetry, I said, oh, I think I'm going to try it. So I wrote something, brought it in, and it was a monologue that I performed. And at the end of the show, the director of the theater says, wasn't that a great night? And what about that incredible story that Stephen Olson did? And it was like, what? And it was, that's all I needed. And
Stephen's also a really good actor. He won't tell you that, and he doesn't act in a lot, but he is a really good actor. I saw that performance he's talking about, and he also acted in our Doctor Who film. So, so he does it occasionally when we force him, but he is quite a good actor as well.
Yeah, the science fiction one, I gave it to them. They give me a call the day they're going to shoot it, and they say, how well do you know your script? I know how it ends. And they go, well, the guy that was going to do this part has said that he can't come. Can you come and do it?
And so, you know what the nail that put over the coffin was to cast Stephen in this? It wasn't the fact that the actor dropped out the last second. We asked Steve, do you or do you not have a fedora hat? And Steve was,
there's quite a few of them.
Yeah. Like, I got quite a few of them. I'm like, Steve, you got the perfect.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
It's all because of that fedora hat, Steve. God.
Yeah. It was fun.
Things that happen. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll wrap it up now. And thank you for popping in, Sean.
Oh, no problem. It was great.
A big hand for the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.